I think we've been optimizing for the wrong things when it comes to our investing. Simple investing is what's going to make us millionaires. Some people think that if we want an easy way to invest without spending a bunch of time and money, that we're forced to hire a professional manager and then we'll succeed. But that's not true, because a professional manager on average gets outperformed by an index fund 98% of the time. As long as we're investing for more than 20 years, they get rocked. A lot of us normal people also think that if we want the best results, we've got to somehow pick the best stocks and the best crypto and basically risk all of our money as if we were in a casino, gambling on these things and just hoping that they continue to go up in a crazy fashion. Is it really wise to risk your entire net worth and your future financial security on some ridiculous crypto coin that's hot right now? So then what's the alternative? Well, we could spend hours every single week researching companies and learning how to read financial statements and learning stock market strategies and studying to try and spend your entire life becoming a professional stock trader. But there's also a problem with that, because let's say even if you succeed at that, is that the way you want to spend your time and energy in life? Is that how you want to devote your days? I don't. Somehow it took me 15 years of investing to realize this week that I think simple investing is the best way for us to get the best returns without spending our life and our energy in the wrong ways, wasting it. So from now on in my videos, I want to introduce this central theme that's called time ROI. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the hassle too large to warrant me learning something new about this investment, this service, this tax savings method, this budgeting app, whatever it is? It's got to be worth it. It can't be so much of a faff and so much of a waste of time that it only gives me a tiny incremental improvement. It needs to be like proportional. I'm going to spend a lot of time and energy on this thing. It's going to give me a big return. Or it's not that hard to adopt a new thing over here and it only gives me a little return. That also applies to risk. Like if something is really risky and it stands to damage our finances as much as it benefits us, that also needs to be called out for what it is, because the risk is real and the stress of living with that risk is real. Like you don't want to lose sleep at night just because maybe you'll get a 25% return this year. It's not worth it. I think every move that we make financially needs to make us more confident, more secure, more ready for the future. So if anything threatens that, we can call it out for what it is and say, look, that's not worth it. That's not a good thing. It doesn't pass my time ROI test. It doesn't pass my risk ROI test. ROI, if you're lost, is return on investment. So how do we actually put this in place? What are some examples of this? First off, I think we can apply the Pareto principle to our money and our investing. The Pareto principle, if you forgot, like I normally do and I had to Google it, is just that 80% of our results come from 20% of our actions. I don't think managing our money and investing well and getting wealthy needs to be a very complicated thing. It comes down to two actions, if you ask me. Number one, make sure that you're spending less than you make. If possible, spend a lot less than you make. That could either come from cutting your spending a lot or growing your income a lot. Either way, make sure you're spending less than you make, and then take that chunk of money, as big as you can possibly make it, and invest today. It's like planting a tree. If you want the tree to be the biggest it could possibly be, you need to plant it as early as possible. So to waste no time, invest as much money as early as you can, as often as you can. And as long as you're doing something that's relatively diverse and safe, like choosing something like an index fund or a target date fund with low fees or something like that, you're going to see that money compounding like crazy. That's it. That's getting rich boiled down into two steps. That is 80% of your results coming from 20% of your actions. If all you did was that, you didn't worry about any other principles of personal finance and investing and anything else, you'd do okay. You would still win. That's the kind of thing I want to focus on. So I'm going to have like a category of things that are all in future videos that are saying, this is the stuff that's actually worth your time, worth setting up, worth understanding just enough to get by. Things like setting up an automatic investment plan so you don't have to worry about it. Understanding based on the investing service that you're using, whatever the app is that you've chosen, how do you get the investments set up in the ways that you want? How do you find the right ETF or index fund or whatever? How do you settle that up to happen automatically? And that pretty much only happens like once. Another thing that only really happens once is picking the right kind of tax advantage account to use. Do you want a Roth IRA? Do you want a traditional IRA? Should you use your 401k at work? Should you use a taxable brokerage account? All we have to do is learn enough about that one time when we're setting all this up. You make the choice and it's done. It's just like a tiny burn as you set up that action the first time. And then in contrast to that kind of stuff, things that are probably not worth it. Things like day trading, complex option strategies, timing the market, analyzing individual stocks, sweating over what exactly is going to happen with your taxes, whether or not you itemize the purchase of a new mouse for work, and can you do an extra 3 miles every day on the way to work because maybe then you can do a tax deduction. And what about tax loss harvesting? How much of a difference is that going to make when you only have a $9,000 account balance anyway? Maybe I should tax loss harvest and then I'll get an extra 0.1% return. Like, no. The law of diminishing returns is big time in effect over here, not so much with these things over here. But people don't like to think that way. We fall for this trap of thinking that simplicity is something that's for simple people. Maybe you're a beginner, maybe you're a dummy, maybe you're not smart enough to grasp this this stuff. I'm smart enough to do day trading and option strategies and analyze stocks. I can do this kind of thing. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I think simplicity isn't settling for less. It's an intentional strategy for better results. It's a feature, not a flaw. It's not a crutch. It's a crucial strategy to keep your head on straight and focus on the 80-20 rule. Is your time better spent learning how to add more value at work and get paid more, or maybe even just literally working more to get paid more, so then you have more money to invest? I want you to know that you have permission to ignore things that are noise. Ignore anything that's outside that realm of the 20% of your actions that give you 80% of the results, and say, I can be confident about ignoring financial noise and complexity and news and trends and whatever other people are absorbed with. I know that's not going to give me 80% of my results, so I can totally ignore that and feel great about it. It's not a cop-out, it's a strategy. So going forward, every review, every product or service that I try out, everything that I'm analyzing is going to be seen through this lens. Is it simple enough for us to not waste our time and energy on it, for us to be able to focus 20% of our effort on 80% of our results, to make the decision and move on with our life? We don't need to live on financial websites and newsletters. We can look at our families and spend time and not be totally consumed with our money and still get really great results. If you want to do all that and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe because it helps me a lot. And otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Also, the secret comment word is marathon. Ran a marathon on Sunday and I was wrecked. That was not a good time. That was like a death march. It was terrible. If you want to know more about the marathon, ask me in the comments. All right, see ya.